Alex Jones lashed out at Joe Rogan, and it was absolutely bonkers. Let's watch.
I'm not trying to be Joe Rogan, a lapdog of the system. I'm trying to change the world, and I'm doing it. And as for Joe, since I brought that up, I meant to do this. I'm going to do it now. Cue him up. If you can find it. I was going to do it last week, and I didn't do it. I'm doing it because I don't lose sleep over nothing, and I've been losing sleep over not saying this. So I'm going to do it right now. Cue him up saying that George Soros was captured by the Nazis. Now, you got it? Good. Joe, I don't care about coming on your podcast. I don't need to come on your podcast. But my point is, though, I know you're as smart as I am or smarter. And I sit there and I watch what you do on your show where I'm wrong about Bourdain, but then you have your guys go, oh, look, we discovered the Clintons were after him and he was this and that. And then Alex, you know, Alex is, yeah, he's just wrong about all this stuff. And, he says Soros worked with the Nazis. Soros was captured by the Nazis. Hell, Joe, why not just say he cut Hitler's head off and fought him at a castle, and Hitler was guarded by 5,000 werewolves and naked strippers in SS uniforms. I'm not stupid. I get to hear my son listen to his podcast almost every day. I hear it to the point of I don't want to watch it because I don't want to start saying stuff because I care about Joe. Joe's a good guy. He's done a lot of good work. He's really a libertarian patriot. But he's out there in Los Angeles with his family. And every time I see this stuff, he's misrepresenting what I've said and what I've done. He says, oh, I like Alex, but then he snipes me. Oh, I like you, Alex. Ugh. I like you. Alex is a good guy. Ugh. He's wrong. He's wrong. He's wrong. He's wrong. He's like my other best buddy. Eddie Bravo. Eddie, you're a crazy dumbass. Boom, slam your head in the ground. Aren't you a nice little guy putting up with me saying that? I already know I'm number one, Joe. I already get that. It isn't about being number one. It's about changing the world. And you have the power to do that. Because let me tell you something, Joe. They're going to release bioweapons soon to try to stop Trump in this movement. Oh, Alex Jones is wrong about Anthony Bourdain. Hey, Joe, I talked to the people that were there in the production at the highest levels. They're involved in the Pentagon, everything else. I know all about it. Elon Musk. I mean, Joe, I'm not going to tell you, who I talked to yesterday or who I talked to this afternoon. So just let's quit pretending that we aren't the tip of the spear. And then Joe takes DMT and talks about seeing space aliens and other dimensions. And then I talk about the globalists taking drugs and believing they're getting knowledge from other dimensions. And I'm the biggest kook in the world. Oh, I had Alex on. People think I like Alex. I like him as a friend, but he's a total nutball. I had him on. He talked about interdimensional child molesters, psychic vampires. He's crazy. Oh, really? I don't take DMT. It's fine that you do. I'm a libertarian. And then I don't sit there and think I'm communicating with aliens. The people I'm talking about do. Because if you're a good person and you take the DMT and go to the fifth dimension, sixth dimension, if you believe in that stuff, they act real friendly, but Mescalito gets mean later. He's a goat, by the way. It's Baphomet's who you meet. It happens to basically everybody, unless you're a really good guy. And then you get transported to a space prison for a couple 100,000 years. And then when you come back, you don't ever come back. Now, I've never taken it, but I've talked to people. I knew about this when I was a kid from people that I knew that were involved in CIA trials at Berkeley. Oh, tell me about DMT, Joe. Tell me all about, how you popularized it in the last 15 years. The Clockwork Elves, Joe. I heard about the Clockwork Elves when I was a little kid. And I decided I don't want to see them. Because everybody sees them. Little goat creatures with little green hats and little green uniforms. That look just like gray aliens. Then they pull their mask off and they don't look quite like that anymore. They wear little gray masks so they don't get too scary. Because they look like little gremlins, little demons. Now, see, you'll probably play that and say, look how crazy he believes in little gremlin demons. No, you do. You talked about it. You saw it. You believe it. I didn't take it. The Bible says don't be part of pharmakia because it gives you the evil spirits. Okay, I didn't used to believe that growing up. And then I learned the CIA is taking this to get interdimensional communications. You say you've had those interdimensional communications, Joe. I haven't had them. You have had the communications, but I'm the kook. Yeah, there's Bourdain saying he's been experiencing Hillary's wrath and it's no fun. But you know, Alex Jones is wrong for even asking a question. Again, I'm sorry.
That was particularly disturbing. Okay, so first of all, the Bourdain thing is like, it's just so beyond the pale, man. On the day that he fucking died, Alex Jones was already out there coming up with conspiracy theories. Listen, dude, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You certainly don't know before the goddamn medical examiners know. So you concoct all of these conspiracy theories, and let's face it, what you're doing is you're politicizing the death of somebody. So you're trying to get some sort of political gain out of somebody's death. And then you take these out-of-context tweets where he talks about, oh, I've been on the receiving end of, the wrath of Hillary's operatives. And the interpretation that he takes there is, well, obviously Hillary Clinton had Anthony Bourdain murdered. Listen, I'm 100% sure I've said something to that effect on Twitter. But that was me saying, listen, I've been attacked as like a Bernie bro. So being on the receiving end of the wrath of Hillary's operatives is like, the social media presence of people who are viciously arguing in favor of her and making hacky arguments in favor of her. The Correct the Record spent $1 million to pump out like pro-Hillary trolls. Have many of us been on the receiving end of those trolls? Yes. Pretty sure that's what Bourdain was talking about. Not like, oh my goodness, they're sending a hitman to murder me. And this idea of like, and the rest of the conspiracy is even dumber. It's, because he was pro-Trump. Well, weird, they somehow missed Kanye West coming out to be pro-Trump, even though Kanye West is bigger than Anthony Bourdain. So the powers that be, the Illuminati, the Bilderberg, the globalists, whatever the fuck you want to call them, they're so genius that they weren't able to stop a bigger celebrity coming out to basically be pro-Trump, and they also weren't able to stop his fucking election. So these Bilderbergs are so organized, or, this Illuminati group, the globalists, the Hillary people, are so organized that they missed getting their candidate elected, and they missed the fact that half the fucking country, and many celebrities, by the way, are pro-Trump. But they just one of the celebrities, they were like, we got to kill this guy for being pro-Trump. There's no logic there. There's no logic there whatsoever. And he's being like dense on purpose, it strikes me as. And then also, by the way, whenever Joe Rogan is friends with Alex Jones, so whenever he disagreed with Alex Jones, he always like bent over backwards to try to be conciliatory and try to be kind, and he would say something like, hey man, he's been right about a lot of stuff. And then he would say stuff like the agent provocateurs, where the government would send people into protests to start being violent to then allow, the law enforcement to crack down on the protests. He would give him credit on stuff like that. I've given Alex Jones credit on the NSA stuff and the Patriot Act. There was a time when he was against the NSA and the Patriot Act and too much executive authority in that realm. And Joe would always bring that up whenever talking about Alex Jones. Always hits them with the line of like, well, he's right about some things. But then, yeah, Alex, when you were out there promoting the idea that Sandy Hook was a fucking conspiracy theory, and then, by the way, lying and saying that you never said that, when there's fucking compilations of you from like 20 different shows saying exactly that, people are going to disagree with that. Joe Rogan's going to be like, that's not cool. Not only do I disagree with that, that's really fucked up, because what happened is a lot of the family members of these people who died are being harassed. And they're being harassed by people who listen to you and think you're right when you say that, when you originally said there were no kids that died, and he's said a variety of different conspiracy theories in regards to Sandy Hook. And then again, he's disingenuous after the fact and acts like, I never said that. Yes, you did. We have it on fucking videotape, you goddamn liar. So yeah, Joe Rogan is going to disagree with that. Yeah, Joe Rogan is going to get upset when you talk about how his friend, by the way, Anthony Bourdain, it's not that he committed suicide. He was murdered by Hillary Clinton because he was going to come out and be pro-Trump. It's so fucking gross, man. And then you know what I got out of this? He's really insecure, Alex Jones is, because it's like he doesn't acknowledge the fact that Joe actually gave him credit on some issues and is always bending over backwards to be conciliatory and kind to his friend. Disregarded all of that and was just like, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, mocking Joe for, sometimes disagreeing with him. It's like, dude, what do you expect? You were literally talking about interdimensional alien vampire child molesters on his show, and you expect everybody to just take that at face value as if it's some sort of factual comment? Come the fuck on, man. Is he serious? Is Alex Jones serious, or is he some sort of, character? Is he doing some sort of game where he's this character and it's performance art? I don't know. I would hope that's it, because if that's not it, then goodness gracious, are we in trouble? Okay, and then I love how, and by the way, this segment was like 25 minutes long. You only saw a little snippet of it there, but he talks about how they're going to release bioweapons to stop Trump and the movement. He always drops things that are like insane comments that require a tremendous amount of evidence, but he doesn't provide the evidence. He just drops the statements as if it's like a matter of fact, as if it's like, well, of course, they're going to release bioweapons to stop the Trump movement. Then, my favorite part, he talks about DMT and he attacks Joe Rogan for promoting DMT. And he says, oh, people take DMT and they see aliens in other dimensions. And he kind of strawmans Joe Rogan as if Joe Rogan said, oh, I took DMT and I definitely saw things from other dimensions. Again, that's not true. What Joe Rogan says, and he says it very clearly, and I've heard him say it multiple times, is, I don't know what happens when I take DMT. It certainly feels like I'm connecting with another dimension. It could all be in my mind. But either way, it feels the same. It feels as if it's a genuine, some sort of out-of-body, insane, like, religious experience. It feels the same whether you're actually connecting with another dimension or if it's just all in your mind. So what's the difference? So he never said, I know that there are aliens. I know that there are other dimensions. I know that I'm communicating with fucking elves. Like, he never said that. You are pretending he said that. So then you get to turn around and say, oh, and I'm the crazy one? Yes, Alex, you are the crazy one, because unlike Joe, you actually make claims of fact that there are interdimensional aliens and fucking vampires and pedophiles run the world. And so stop, like, he's being really disingenuous when he makes a lot of these points. And then I like how he just drops in there, quote, you go to space prison for a couple 100,000 years. So in other words, if you take DMT and you have a bad trip, you go to space prison for a couple 100,000 years. And he makes this smug face like, nailed it, gotcha. You don't know what the fuck you're talking, what does that mean? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then he talks about little goat creatures, like, yeah, little goat, that's Baphomet. So in other words, oh, you're communicating with, like, the devil. And then he talks about the Bible. He says, oh, the Bible's against it, so I don't do it. Can you just come out of the Pat Robertson closet, Alex, please? Just come out and say, I'm like John Hagee, I'm like Pat Robertson, I'm like every single Jerry Falwell, every single insane uber fundamentalist Christian in the country. That's me now. Because we're going to do another story later. Alex Jones spent all this week talking about how different people are the devil, literal demons. Hillary Clinton's a literal demon. Bob Dylan is a literal demon. I'm serious. He's been talking about that all week. Like, oh, they're demons, demon possession, and devil worship. And so just stop. Like, there was a time, Alex, when you were the conspiracy guy and like, okay, he rants about what's really going on and who's really controlling things and, and you were wrong about a lot of stuff, but hey, at least you would talk about civil liberties from time to time, and at least you would talk about how war is stupid. Now look at your show. It's all fucking fundamentalist religious garbage and shitting on your friend and pretending your friend said he connected with another dimension. When no, you're the one who says that there are other dimensions and fucking vampires and pedophiles run everything. Shut the fuck up! God, you're such a hack. You're such a goddamn hack. And the fact that he brought up the Bible tells you everything you need to know about what's happened to Alex Jones. You're going to bring up the Bible? You're going to bring up the Bible. And then, finally, he says, like, again, as a matter of fact, I know that the CIA has been using those drugs to do interdimensional communications. The thing that upset me most about this segment from Alex Jones was actually the like to dislike rate on the video. Now, again, if people are watching him and they think it's some sort of performance art, and it's like tongue-in-cheek and like, oh, this is awesome, he's attacking Joe Rogan, and they just like it, okay, fine, I guess. But if there are people who are watching this and they're like, no, seriously, he nailed it, then the level of idiocy out there really surpasses what I thought. And it's not like I had a rosy view to begin with, but goodness gracious, if people watch this and they think that this man is making coherent points as opposed to being just a ranting, raving, raging lunatic, I have no words.